Hello, welcome to Save U.S. Taxes Legally. I want to teach this to as many U.S. investors, U.S. business owners, U.S. franchise owners, U.S. entrepreneurs, and also U.S. 1099 income earners. I call this the secret of the rich. Imagine saving taxes year after year, generation after generation. You can use this money to put back into your business, put back into more investments, pay off your mortgage, buy a new vehicle, take your family on vacation, save retirement, or give to your favorite charity. Imagine all your information is kept private. No one knows what you own, where you own it, how much you sell it for, and how much you make. Unfortunately, I was taught as a real estate investor to always have an LLC. No one told me that 40% of LLCs, S Corps, and C Corps are sued every year. That information is available 24/7 online. Imagine all lawsuits become frivolous. I can't stop you from being sued, but if someone tries to sue you, the only thing you have to do is send the first page back to the attorney. How much time, anxiety, worry, and you get to save. This is the power of the Spendthrift Trust. You're going to save in four very important ways. You're going to leave a legacy, generation after generation. You're going to keep your information 100% private. All lawsuits become frivolous, and so you get to save taxes. Most important thing. I'm going to share my screen and start doing my presentation. My website is www.thetrustisyou.com. Like I said, leave a legacy, judgment proof, 100% privacy. This is super important. Now, go down. I think my thing, there goes. This is the 2025 tax brackets. There's 4 ways to file your taxes in 7 different brackets. If you get nothing else from this presentation, please pay attention to what I'm going to teach you right now. On January 1st of 2025, the IRS changed married filing separately. Single's the most expensive way. Married filing jointly is the cheapest way. Head of household is a single parent with children 18 or under. On January 1st of 2025, they changed married filing separately to the same rate as single, all the way up to the 37% tax bracket. So look at this. If you're married, and let's say you're at 24% tax bracket, you don't start paying 24% tax bracket until you make $206,701. If you're filing separate, it's 50% less. If you get nothing else from this, and I've talked to quite a few people whose CPA tells them, hey, your significant other has a W-2 job, you have a 1099 income, file separately. Biggest mistake you can make. My whole goal is to teach people how to save taxes legally. Now, this is the 2026 federal income taxes. They just came out literally last Wednesday. And just to give you an idea, my first quote that I did was a head of married filing jointly, making $150,000 at 24% tax rate. They got to save, compared to 2025 to 2026, a whopping $49 for the full year. Thank you for our tax bracket. It's a tax break. Again, if you need to have more explanation on this, please let me know, because most people are unaware of how taxes change and how to file taxes. I'm not a CPA. I found this out on my own. So the Spendthrift Trust, I call it the Spendthrift Trust. The full name is Irrevocable, Complex, Discretionary, Non-Grantor Spendthrift Trust. I can almost guarantee you, if you go to your CPA and tell them you're looking at a Spendthrift Trust, they're going to give you an article dated August 9th of 2023, where the IRS literally says they do not like the tax code 643B. They do not like the Irrevocable, Complex, Discretionary, Non-Grantor Spendthrift Trust. That's okay. It's their opinion. In my opinion, Lima beans are the worst vegetable in the world. My mom loved them. You can't swallow them whole, and they're nasty tasting. Only Congress can change the tax code. This went into our current tax code that we are under, went into effect February of 1913. It was only supposed to be around for a few years, and then we got involved in World War I. The super rich families of 1913, the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, the Carnegies, the Kennedys, made sure they could save taxes. Guess what? If they can save taxes, we can save taxes. So let me go over all these 5 elements. You need to have these 5 elements to make this work. Irrevocable. This means it goes from generation to generation. The Rockefellers Spendthrift Trust is called the office. It's 7 generations old and has over 400 people under the same EIN or employee identification number. If you decide to buy a trust from the law firm I work on behalf of, they will get you the EIN number, they'll get you the letter from the bank, and help you get everything set up. EIN, employee identification number, just like you have on your LLC, S Corp, or C Corp. Complex. This trust can hold money from day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year, decade to decade, century to century. Again, the law firm I work on behalf of, that was started by a Harvard law professor, Paul Benson, 77 years ago. Not a single trust has ever been audited. Now his grandson and great-grandson run the law firm, and they stand behind those numbers. The law firm inherited a trust that turned 350 years old in 2023, so it's now 352 years old. This information comes from England way back when King Henry VIII started the Church of England in 1546. If I have the year wrong, I apologize, I'm dyslexic. Yes, King Henry VIII, the famous king who chopped off his wives' heads, started the Church of England so he could divorce his wives. Okay, murder a few ladies, who cares? He went to go tax the lords and ladies of England, and they went further back to the 13th century to the Magna Carta and said, oh, no, King Henry VIII, you can't do this. It's contract law that came to the colonies when we were still part of England. Again, when our tax code went into effect, February 1913, they made sure that rich people could save taxes. Now, 97% of the trusts sold in the United States are what my mom and dad had and what Susie Orman talks about on PBS television. The family trust or the living trust. There's nothing wrong with the family trust. It avoids probate and then it dissolves and goes away. This is not your mom and dad's trust. This is what the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, the Carnegies, the Kennedys, our current president, his father, Frank Trump, started this trust in 1972, Robin Williams, and rich people have. Discretionary. Whoever's the trustee or trustees get to make the rules for all the beneficiaries while they're living and also after they pass away. There's no infighting, there's no contesting the will in court, nothing like that. And actual clients of mine, husband and wife, who have 4 apartment buildings in Los Angeles, that let their adult daughter live in one of the apartments rent-free. They are requiring her to do 4 random drug tests per month because she has a problem. She actually took her parents to federal court. This is on the federal level. The judge read over the Spendthrift Trust, and he told her, you have 2 options. Option A, move out, pay your own rent. Option B, pass the drug tests, and you don't have to pay rent. I do not want to be invited to Thanksgiving dinner. Non-Grantor. This makes the trust 100% private. It's going to be based in Texas because that's where the law firm is. And then you'll have someone who is never going to be a beneficiary and who will never be a trustee sign up to be your grantor or your settler. And then they sign themselves away. You will need their social security number. This is not a speed bump. I have done this for many of my clients. My mom and dad, with their living trust, they were the grantors or the settlers. When they both pass away, the trust dissolved and all their assets had to be divided up. With the non-grantor, this goes away. And last element, spendthrift. Like I said, it's an IRS Tax Code 643B. It's been in front of the United States Supreme Court on 2 separate occasions, and it's won both times. You can't get more legal than this. It's an amazing document. I love it. So, Paul Benson was a Harvard law professor. 77 years ago, he wrote 5 separate trusts to save specific taxes. You're not tax free. Today, I'm going to talk about 2 of the trusts. The business trust is for business owners, entrepreneurs, franchisee owners, and 1099 income earners. You will legally save at least 90% on federal income taxes yearly, and in 43 states no longer pay state income taxes. I personally started my business trust in September of 2000 living in Arizona. I have moved to North Carolina and I have not paid either Arizona state income taxes or North Carolina state income taxes for the past, well, I paid part of them in 2000, but for the past 4.5 years, I have not paid them. Second trust we're going to talk about, the Beneficial Trust, is for all U.S. investors. You will stop paying taxes on profits. You will no longer pay capital gains when you sell something at a profit. You'll no longer pay interest income taxes if you're a passive investor. You'll no longer pay dividend income taxes if you're in the stock market. You'll no longer pay rental income taxes if you're a real estate investor. And you'll no longer pay royalty income taxes if you have talent or you have NFTs. Third trust he wrote, the Mineral Rights Trust. I only sold one of those. One of my beneficial trust clients inherited his granddad's horse farm in Oklahoma. On the horse farm, there are 6 oil wells producing quite a bit of money. The money from the oil wells goes through the Mineral Rights Trust. I'm talking to somebody in Wyoming who has shale rights on their property. They're getting paid quite a bit of money there too. That's a different trust than the business or the beneficial trust. Fourth trust he wrote, the charitable trust. If you're a 501c3 company, I have sold several of these. Several of my clients who have saved quite a bit of taxes have started their own charities. Case in point, one of my clients who has the beneficial trust, I'm saving him over $185,000 first year because he does the BRRRR strategy. His wife was a Vietnamese boat person who came to the United States when she was 6 years old with nothing but the clothes on her back. They've started their own charity down in Texas. And then the last trust that Paul Benson wrote is the Senior Trust. I do not like this trust because the senior is over 65 and it's a blind trust for them. Maybe they had a stroke, maybe they have dementia, or they had a heart attack. If you need more information on the last 3 trusts, you can always set an appointment with me. But today we're talking about the business trust. This is an actual client of mine. He called me on January 3rd. He was in the Army and now he works for a defense contractor in Northern Virginia. Ladies, he's single. He knew he made $150,000 in 2024 and has nothing to show for it. He drives a 10-year-old car. He lives in an apartment with 2 roommates, and he wanted to start saving money. He plans to make more than $150,000 in 2024, but we use that number just in 2025, but we use that number just to give him an idea. If he makes $150,000 in 2025, he's going to save $25,962 in federal taxes at 90%. On top of that, in Virginia, there's 5.75% for state income taxes, an additional $8,625. For a full year, he gets to save $34,587. You can put that back into your business. You could get a new vehicle. You could take your family on vacation. You can give to your favorite charity. You could save for retirement. Like I said, he lives in an apartment. He plans to take his $34,000 and put it as a down payment for a house in Northern Virginia. Per month, he's going to save $2,882 per month. Now, if he makes less than $150,000, he'll still save taxes. If he makes more than $150,000, he'll save even more taxes. So let's go down. Now, my personal story, so you have it. October 2018 was a watershed month for me. 3 major things happened. My oldest nephew, I'm living in Phoenix, Arizona, working as a Medicare broker. My oldest nephew is getting married in Charlotte, North Carolina. I had requested back in May to have the Friday before the wedding and the Monday before after the wedding off because friends and family were coming in from all over the world and I was denied. Didn't like that. I didn't like working as a Medicare broker. Second thing that happened, my brand new 3-week-old car, a Hyundai Veloster with a moonroof. You need that in Phoenix at night. I'm driving to be at work at 7 o'clock in the morning, and the second car through at a green light on Indian School Road, a major east-west road in Phoenix, and some idiot runs the red light, T-bones me on my passenger side. He has no insurance. Silly Sally has the paperwork for gap insurance sitting on her kitchen table. I needed to turn it in within 4 weeks, and I didn't do it. All of a sudden, I need to get a second car because if you know Phoenix, public transportation stinks. And my rate on my second car was over 12%. Yikes. Third thing that happened, my mom and dad, who lived in Goodyear, Arizona, drove from Goodyear to Charlotte for the wedding and were supposed to be gone for 2 weeks. My dad calls me Thursday before the wedding to say my mom's in the emergency room. He's not sure what's wrong. Don't change my flight. Still come in, take the red eye from Sky Harbor Airport to Charlotte, and we'll go out to breakfast, and then we'll see my mom. My two nephews meet me with my dad at the airport. We go out to IHOP for breakfast. My two nephews go back to the house. My dad takes me to the hospital. I walk in on my mom getting last rites from a priest. It was a surreal day. I'm dealing with my mom, and super sick. She ended up having septic of the blood. She was on the ventilator for 13 months, in a hospital for 15 months. Thank God she got better and came home. And then I went to a fantastic wedding and reception later that day. Sunday, my sister-in-law put on a fantastic buffet. We called it a smorgasbord. And she's like, I'm Italian. It's not a smorgasbord. And my dad taps me on the shoulder and said, let's go see your mom, and I'll drop you off at the airport. I had to fly back at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the day after the wedding, to be back at work at 6 o'clock the next day. So my mom is in Pineville, North Carolina on a ventilator. I buy this bank-owned reverse mortgage, July 2020, for $20,000. A little bit more about what's going on there. My COVID struck, let's say March 17th, 2020. My mom had got better. She didn't have a St. Patrick's Day party that year. On April 1st, my three properties did not pay me. I had quit my job, and 3 of my properties did not pay me. On April 4th, my CPA called me and said, Sally, congratulations. Your tax bracket went from 22% to 24%, and you now owe $94,000 in short-term capital gains. I only had $50,000 saved. So I purposely bought this Rocky Mount, North Carolina house. It's going to go to auction. I bought it for $20,000 during COVID. It was going to go to auction for $50,000. That spread, $30,000 in between at 24% tax rate, would be $7,110. Because of COVID restrictions, it didn't go to auction until August 28th of 2021. And it ended at $64,326. I made $44,326 without lifting a hammer. But because it was in my trust at 24% tax rate, I got to save $10,368 that I put into more real estate. This is the way I love to do real estate. The beneficial trust saves the 5 taxes. Short-term capital gains are for when you sell crypto, you're a forex investor, you're doing options trading, you're wholesaling, you're fix and flipping, you're doing auction houses or tax liens. Interest income taxes are when you're a passive investor, you're in mutual funds, you're in a REIT, you're doing subject to real estate, the BRRRR strategy. I now have 12 notes where I'm the paper in the house, people pay me their mortgage. It's interest income taxes. Maybe you're doing creative financing, seller financing, or you're a forex investor. Yes, forex investors get taxed twice. Dividend income taxes. If you're in the stock market, you're a day trader, you're doing futures trading, you are doing commodities or living off of dividends. I don't do my own options trading. My friend does it for me, but I don't pay taxes on it. Rental income taxes. Maybe you have short-term rentals like Airbnb, vacation rentals, 3 doors, 5 doors, 15 doors, 20 doors, 100 doors. Maybe you have apartment buildings, multifamily. You have commercial property or doing Airbnb arbitrage. The only tax that's not on here is royalty income taxes. They're taxed a little bit less, 7 different layers, but between 10% to 35%. Again, you can mix and match this. In my 2024 taxes, I saved short-term capital gains, I saved interest income taxes, I saved rental income taxes, I saved royalty income taxes. Doesn't matter how much you save in which category. Long-term capital gains are a year or more and affect you when you sell your business, you sell an investment property, or you sell a baseball card. An adult son in Kentucky saw my TikTok video, contacted me over Christmas and said his mom and dad were selling a family-owned restaurant that his dad, Jim, and his 2 brothers built 42 years ago. Jim had never been on Zoom. We got him on Zoom, and he had already signed the contract with his business broker, Sam. Jim gave me his information. I called Sam to change the contract. Sam, with Jim and his wife, Ann, at $3 million on April 15th, 2024. They're selling it March 30th, 2023. On April 15th, 2024, at 15%, they got to save $450,000 at 15%, or $600,000 at 20%. Sam changed the contract. Sam says, I'm going to make $30,000 off this deal, and I got 4 more deals in the pipeline for 2023. He got the business trust. I told Sam about my affiliate program where he signs up to be my affiliate, and he tells somebody about the trust. When they buy a trust and I get paid, I send $1,000. He tells Michael, the gentleman who's buying this Kentucky restaurant, about the business trust. It's Michael's 7th restaurant in 3 different states. Michael buys the business trust to save federal and state income taxes, and Sam made an extra $1,000. Now, one of the things I want to talk about, several of my clients are on Medicare. If you're 65 or older, or maybe you have health problems. Every October, the IRS goes back 2 years. So October 2025, they went back to check tax returns, 2023, 1040 tax returns. The trust files a 1041 tax return, so they're not aware of this. But IRMA is income-related adjusted amount that affects Part B, your doctor's visits and your tests, and Part D, which is your prescriptions. What they do is they add up everything. Maybe you're making money from Social Security, you have a pension, you're actually working, you're doing 401k or SEP withdrawals, interest income taxes, capital gains, dividend income taxes, or rental income taxes, or royalty income taxes are all added together. For 2025, if you're single and you make more than $106,000, you're going to pay a premium on IRMA. If you're married, the total is $212,000 and you'll pay a premium. This next page that I'm going to show you, this is what it looks like for 2025. Everybody who's on Medicare pays $185 per month per person. I can't do away with that. One of my clients, husband and wife, excuse me, a husband and wife who are in the 70s did very well they're living off dividend income taxes. I'm saving those taxes with the Beneficial Trust, but now that they file a 1041 tax return, they will no longer pay IRMA taxes. Both he and she each were paying $465 for Medicare, and I got it down to each one of them for $185. Again, if you're on Medicare, I will explain this better for you if you need to. If you're interested, my free 30-minute tax breakthrough session is www.thethrustisyou.com/scheduling. I have a free class on the Great Discovery. Just type in www.sallygimmon.com. You'll get a presentation similar to this. 3 articles from Forbes magazine I did not write, 2 pages of case law so you can research this to your heart's content, and examples of clients saving thousands and thousands of dollars. Again, I want to say thank you for coming to my presentation today. I'm going to stop the recording and answer any questions.